Hello and welcome to another Andy's FPL Apprentice video. It's a quick turnaround this week with the midweek fixtures. So this is our team selection video for Gameweek 6. I've been really enjoying making the videos, and it's your interaction that makes us want to keep making them. So leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, like the video, all of that good stuff, and we'll keep churning out some content for you. And joining us back on the channel, we've got Will today. Hi, buddy.
Hello. Hi, Chief.
Must be pretty pleased to be here because you're doing all right.
Absolutely. I've had a good couple of weeks back to back.
Yeah, you certainly have. I did point out last week that we should really rename the channel because you're absolutely battering me. But did it carry on this week? Spoiler, yes it did.
Yeah, had another pleasing week.
So yeah, got your team in front of me here. 84 points. Another green arrow. You're up to 302,000, which you've got to consider. One, there's 10 million players.
Yeah.
Two, most of the people at the top tend to be because they've used their early triple captain and bench boost and stuff like that. So loads of them you can just kind of discount because they're not going to stay there. They've just got early points.
I mean, this week could have been a good week for a triple captain, but I've still let it lie for the moment. Yeah, 22,000 out of Man City fans.
Nice. So talk us through your team. How'd your game week go?
Well, Sanchez had an unusually poor week this week, just getting the single point. As we record this, Ward will be playing tonight. But
I should say we're recording it Thursday night, so Leicester United still hasn't played, so there will be a slight drop in rank because neither of us have we both got Ward on the bench, but nobody is going to affect our points.
Yeah.
But I think they're all relatively low-owned players. I don't think anyone's really smashed the United and Leicester players, so I don't think it'll make a massive difference.
No. Some good points scored across the bench. James didn't play through injury. So Anderson at Palace will take his place off the bench.
Yeah.
Just 2 points for Robertson, but 8 points for White and 12 points for Cancelo after scoring a goal. All very pleasing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things about Cancelo being sold, and I'll be honest, I've got half an eye on it. I don't think he's been as attacking this season. But
no, I'd agree.
The thing is, he's a City defender, so your clean sheets are going to roll in there, and he's still attacking enough that I think he'll dip in with points.
Yeah,
and obviously did this week, but it's just whether they're quite as consistent as they were last year and whether he's worth the price. But obviously panned out this week. Yeah,
I mean, a big part of my selection process is pick the teams who are most likely to get clean sheets.
Yeah,
and then of them, the ones who are most likely to do more than that. But yeah, pretty good return over my defence. Midfield, again, similarly so. Gross had a quiet week this week, but I've been pleased with his performance, so I'm not too worried about Gross. Saka got an assist, 5 points there. Salah ended up to get 2 assists.
Goal and an assist, I think, didn't he?
And 2 bonus points. I think it was 2 assists he got, although the second one, I don't know if you saw the goal, but it sort of glanced his head.
Anyway, at least
for the point. And Zaha got 7 points again, because Zaha is just a points machine consistently.
Absolutely is. I'll come on to Zaha later because I have some thoughts on him.
Across my front two, Tony has had sort of another quiet week twice in a row. But fortunately, I made the right captain choice, perhaps for the first time this season, and picked Haaland, who had an outstanding game, scoring a hat-trick and taking all 3 bonus points.
Yeah, he certainly did, yeah. So for once, although I did finish behind you, I got 79 points, which is a big green arrow for me. It takes me up to 2 mil, which is, edging towards respectability.
Mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, the decisions that I made at the start of the season are still the ones that are panning out for me. Every time I make a transfer, it makes my team marginally worse at the moment. So I waited right until the deadline because I wanted to see whether Zinchenko was going to play for Arsenal, and Arteta basically said in his press conference that it was very unlikely, and he didn't. So I went for Lewis Dunk, Brighton, conceded very few goals this season. Lewis Dunk is always good for a goal from a corner, good in the air. Scored an own goal, got me -1. Also, my transfers from last week, so Rodrigo, I'm really looking forward to him. His underlying numbers have been really good. He's been playing up front, just getting so many shots away. He dislocated his shoulder after about 30 minutes, so he's a beaut. And Ivan Toney, who's been superb this season, has blanked twice in a row. But 79, pretty solid. My defence was a bit disappointing. Raya with just 3 at least got save points for me. Perisic just the 1, Trent Arnold 2, but I Cancelo as well. Salah as well. Martinelli's just been superb for me this season. When I've watched Arsenal games, him and Jesus just seem to interchange all the time. So he's playing as much up front as Jesus is, to be honest. So I think he's a absolutely key pick at the minute. Tony, I mentioned, Jesus himself, 6 points solid, and yeah, same as you, right captain decision with Haaland. I'm 90% sure he was going to play, and I was 10% thinking he was going to be benched. And I was always going to captain him if I was happy he was going to play. So if Pep had sort of suggested more that he was going to be benched, I would have gone Salah. But
I did panic a little bit that the person I went to the game with, he'd read that he just wasn't going to play. Alvarez was getting the spot. And I'd banked quite a lot of this week's points on Haaland playing. Unfortunately, he did, and was magnifique.
So I think Pep said that when we start playing midweek games, that Haaland isn't going to play every game, that we're going to see Alvarez start up front, and I do think that'll happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's not missing alternate games, is he? He's not missing every other one. He'll definitely play more often than not.
It might be the weekend game perhaps that he misses, but he just feels early, and he's barely played a full 90 minutes yet. So if it felt early to start resting Haaland, glad he played.
So you've got 2 free transfers. Didn't use a transfer last week, did you?
I didn't.
Yeah, so you had 2 last week and still didn't make a transfer. Still has 2 for this week, which is bold. So have you got any sort of transfer plans for this week?
Well, yes. I think I might, at least money-wise, downgrade James, partially because he's injured currently. But also, I don't think Chelsea are in a particularly good vein of form.
You mentioned this to me, and I mean, I agree with you. I think it's the issue of, in attack, I think they actually have issues. I think the balance isn't quite right at the minute. But defensively, I think they've made good signings. I think the problem is that they've made 4 out of the 5 defenders are new, and I think that is difficult. You sort of don't have that communication kind of set up. I'm looking at bringing James in potentially. He is it was illness, they said, which is vague, but it does suggest he could easily be back for the
it's not long
for the
term.
weekend. Yeah, I do get it. I think the clean sheets aren't looking as guaranteed as you'd like with a Chelsea player, and he's expensive. But at the same point, they've just signed Fofana, so he's going to be starting. You'd imagine at 70 million, Fofana's going to be starting. So James will move back to the wing-back position. And when he's played wing-back this season, which is infrequently, that's where his points have come from because he's so attacking. So I get the reasoning. It makes a lot of sense. I get the reasoning, but
the extended plan from there, so the money potentially saved on James, I was considering upgrading Saka to Martinelli. Same team, but I think sort of aiming for the one currently in form. Saka got me an assist this week, but has had plenty of weeks of just straight 2 points, while Martinelli seems to be racking them in at the moment.
So Martinelli's considerably cheaper than Saka.
Oh.
$1.5 million cheaper.
Oh, well, that's ludicrous. Then I don't need to save money.
You don't. But I totally agree with that. Like I said, start of the season that I thought that Saka and Martinelli would get similar points, and that's why I thought Martinelli was such a good pick. Saka's on penalties, and that's why I thought maybe he'd just get a little bit more from those penalties. But actually, I think looking at the numbers, I don't think it's a coincidence that Martinelli's been outscoring him. Like I say, Martinelli's playing down the middle. Although he technically lines up on the left, he plays down the middle as much as he does down the left, whereas Saka's staying wider. Like it's the left wing that Jesus is wandering out to. So, so yeah, I think that's a real good option for you. And if you were to do both of those, you'd have like 2 mil left in the bank.
Yeah. I mean, I don't always see the point of kind of keeping money in reserve, but I'm fairly happy with my team throughout. Like I'm not looking to be in a position where I need 2 million to afford a superstar of some sort at the moment.
So I've got just the one transfer this week, and there's a good possibility I won't use it, but I do have one obvious issue with my team. So I'm expecting Rodrigo to be out for a few weeks. So he's definitely going to have to go. The reason I'm considering not doing it this week is because his price, it doesn't matter to me if it drops. Like he's risen 0.1 since I signed him. So if he drops 0.1, I don't gain or lose anything from that.
Yeah.
I sell him at the same amount. If I was to get rid of him, 2 of the 3 players that I'm looking at are players that you own. So I've got the money to upgrade him to Zaha. I could go to Gross, and I'm also considering Harrison, and keeping it as a Leeds pick. I think Leeds have looked good this season. The results have been decent, slightly mixed, but decent. I think Harrison looks the most likely to have taken over the kind of Rafinha mantle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pascal Gross. Yeah, Pascal Gross I wasn't convinced by at all when you picked him, I'll be honest. But he's been consistent since, like, you picked him after 1 game week, and he's now had... Even when he's not returned, he's still starting 90 minutes. He's playing in such an attacking position for Brighton, and he's so involved. Even when
he gets so many mentions in the commentary, you can tell his involvement.
Yeah, even when he's... Yeah, that's it. I'm not put off by the fact that he blanked this week. Like, it sort of... There's quite a lot of weeks to kind of suggest that he looks like a good pick now. And Zaha, I was put off by his fixtures, and he's played so well throughout those tough fixtures. They're still
as a team.
Yeah, they've just played well, Crystal Palace. The games they've lost, they've played well. They played well against Arsenal, played well against City, and yeah, the fixtures they're still not the best. Like, I'd really like to bring in Zaha in about 3 or 4 weeks, but I'm sort of tempted just to get on him. But the reason I'm thinking of doing nothing is because the price doesn't matter to me. I'm quite happy to pick one of my bench players this week, and it gives me more flexibility. I might actually take money out of the midfield and put it into the defence, or moves like that. And with one transfer, that's not an option, obviously, right now. So how's your team looking for next week then?
Well, I'm just going to strongly consider that changed. I think I will, at the very least, do Saka to Martinelli.
Yeah.
And would bring him straight in. Assuming that I don't sell James.
Have you got thoughts on where you would downgrade that to?
Not currently, no. I think I'd just have to seek out another fullback who's currently scoring good points. I don't have anybody in mind at the moment. Obviously, the intention was to seek out more money that I don't require. So perhaps James will stay. If he continues to be injured, then maybe Anderson will come in. But actually, I don't think I'm going to make any real changes to my team, and I'm going to keep Haaland as captain. The change I'm going to make is making Salah vice captain instead of Tony. That just seems like a much better bet. But yeah, I mean, can Haaland do it again? I hope so.
So my team's looking, again, similar to last week. Presuming that I don't make any changes, and I think it's likely that I won't. If I'm picking a favourite at the moment, I would upgrade to Zaha, but if I don't make any, then my team will be the same as last week. But I'm thinking of bringing Nico Williams actually into the first team, which would leave me a slightly weird 5-2-3 formation. Rarely seen on a football pitch, but I guess if they're playing wing backs, although the way my team's lined up, it looks like Lewis Dunk's playing right wing back, which is odd. But,
doesn't have to make sense if it gets points.
Certainly doesn't. I think Andreas Pereira I've had sat on my bench all season, and he keeps chipping in with points. He's looking like a really good starting option, and that is one reason why I'm thinking of changing my team around a little bit. I don't mind bringing Pereira into the team, and it'll free up some money somewhere else. But for this week, Forest have got Bournemouth. Forest defences look poor, but actually going forward, Nico Williams is like underlying numbers for like creating chances and stuff are genuinely good in the league. Like it's not led to anything yet, but it sort of looks like it could. He's so attacking. He's on free kicks and corners for them. And yeah, Pereira's got Tottenham away for Fulham. The other option is Bailey, who started again this week, which is good to see. But I'd love to transfer him out, but I just have bigger. I always have bigger issues in my team.
Yeah,
so
bigger fish to fry.
So he's just losing me money as his price drops lower and lower. But they've got City at home. I'm not playing him this week.
It seems, yeah.
So yeah, Nico Williams is the one looking likely to come in. And for captaincy, I'm on Salah at the moment, and I've got Haaland as vice. I think if Haaland is going to get a rest, then it'll be this week. Because I don't think he'll miss the midweek Champions League match.
That makes a lot of sense.
But I could see him starting both, and if he starts against Villa, I can Villa's defences look poor. I can see him having would you rule out 3 in a row hat-tricks? The hat-trick of hat-tricks?
I mean, when I made him captain for this most recent game week, my first thought was, he won't score a hat-trick again, but he'll still be a good captain. So yeah, it might happen.
Well, that's it for our Game Week 6 team selection video. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell and you'll never miss another video. We're hoping to do this every week, and I might even sneak out a midweek video this week. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and I'll see you on another video.